Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome. Today's Tuesday, January 10th, 2023. My name is Jeremy. This is my first cup. Very warm. Well, who is here? Mark's here. Is anybody else here? Good morning, Mark. Nobody else? Really? Sounds there are other people here. Nobody else is chiming in the chat. What's going on with that? Ryan. I hope you all had a great Monday. I hope you checked out that episode of Martial Arts Radio with Dan Sands. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it entertaining and inspirational. I hope you check out his YouTube channel. I hope many things. I hope you had a great day. I hope you're looking forward to a great day today. I slept well. I had a really good workout at the gym last night. And I'm half asleep still. I don't know. I struggled to get out of bed. And here I am. I'm just kind of like, my brain is not at 100%. So you might not get the best. See, there we go. You might not get the best version of Jeremy this morning. Good morning, Dennis. Dennis says he's driving to the office. It's the first time in over 2 weeks. Oof. Good luck, my friend. I gotta shave. It's a recording day. We've got 3 episodes lined up, and Andrew and I will record, I think, 1 or 2 Thursday episodes in there too. And good morning, Brian. And so Andrew sent me this message yesterday, and he said, "Hey, look who's coming on the show." And I went, "No way. It's not today. It's next time." But holy cow, one of those names that you're all going to know, and you're going to go, "Whoa, good job, Andrew." Good morning, Jenny. Yeah, it's a pretty good get. One of those that we've been working on for years. Andrew is awesome at this stuff. He just doesn't give up. Just keeps going. The list of people who I really want to have on the show just gets a little smaller once in a while. Just, get people like Mike Stone on, or this person, and go, oh. Now, if you want to know who this name is, you probably know where to go. You sign up at Patreon. Did I post it there yet? No, but I will later this week. And you'll go on and you go, oh, that's a great name. I look forward to hearing the episode of that person. Good morning, Nathan. Oh, all right, you play it. I'm just going to go back to bed and you can watch me sleep. No, I'm not going to do that. Anybody who would watch me sleep is a weirdo. Have I all told you this story? Real quick. When I was in college, I ran the school's TV station, and we had a chicken and egg problem. Nobody watched because there were no shows, and nobody wanted to do a show because nobody watched. Through a variety of circumstances that really don't matter, I lived on air for a week. If I wasn't in the bathroom and I wasn't in class, I was on air. I slept on camera. I did my homework at the desk that we had in front of the cameras. I would, I'd go in, and I knew how to run the gear, so I'd turn the channel on, and people would just watch me. And that was junior year. And everybody on campus knew me from that. They're like, "You're the guy on TV," apparently. And then once in a while, people would say, "Last night at like 3, you were flailing around." It's like, "Why are you watching me sleep at 3 a.m.? I'm like, "Well, there's nothing else on." People are ridiculous. Oh, so what's going on today? Just recording. Ooh. That's it. That's really about it. Is there anything else? I don't know. Can't think that far ahead. Kelly says the Lesniak Show, the new Truman Show. The show didn't have a name at that point. It turned into Jeremy Lesniak live. I have a DVD that got ripped off of VHS somewhere in my DVDs over there. It plays terribly. I think the VHS deteriorated, or the person who did the copy didn't do a very good job. But what is on there is my interview with Rozelle, the beatbox from The Roots. That was the episode that I managed to hold on to. And he did a station promo for us. And we use that for everything. Station's still going. Good morning, Gad. Brian says, ahead of the Truman Movement? When was that movie? This would have been '99. This was the fall of '99 that I did this. And that show went on for a year. And it grew. It was a 2-hour show, Sunday nights from 9 to 11. And from 9 to 10, I would have guests on. I had the president of the school, all the deans, the head of facilities, professors. If faculty or staff wanted to reach the student body, they came on my show. And then the second hour, after we got them clear, was when all the heckling started. It was chaos, complete and utter chaos. But everybody knew, hey, you know what? Let's keep the first hour sane, and then I'll let you become children for the second hour. Jenny says, I think that movie was around 1997, based on the bad date that made me pay for my ticket to that movie. I'm so sorry. That's funny. That's funny. I don't think I've ever made a woman pay for a movie ticket on a date. In fact, I'm confident to say I've never made a woman pay for anything on a date. She may have offered, and I may have accepted, but no. Nope. Wow. Trying to think of bad date movies. There was that one. That's not a very good story, though. Sometimes movies just aren't that good. What are you all doing today? Dennis is driving to work. Anybody else got anything? Anything fun? Anything not fun? Who's training? How are you guys doing with the 30-day challenge? I added the 2 final emails yesterday that kind of wrap it up and hopefully encourage people to do other programs. I now have, what is this, day 9? I now have 3 weeks to get done the one that I included in there that I said, oh, here's one of your options. And I think I've talked about it. I'll tell you. Kick Clinic. It is going to be a similar format, but focused entirely on kicking. Balance and flexibility and strength and speed and coordination. I got 3 weeks to put that together. It's in my head, but I got to write it out. That's probably going to be an 11th hour thing. Oops. Jenny says, whoever does the inviting to the date should do the paying. And this dude, well, we don't have time for that. But you said yes. Hopefully there was no second date. Cad says, you want equality? You got equality. Maybe that was his excuse. Dennis says, there may have been some planking before leaving for work. You know what? It takes all kinds. We've all had bad dates. Some of us have had terrible dates. Some of us have had dates that left us in the bathroom calling our friends, asking how we got out of this situation when we drove her to the restaurant. True story. I mean, not for me. Good morning, Stacy. Kelly says, bad movies for dates. Fatal Attraction. Yes. And War of the Roses. I am unfamiliar with this movie. So the next thing my brain is going to start turning to, because it's next week, we're at what, 9 days now? Yep. The State of the Martial Arts Address, which in my head, it is the State of the Martial Arts Address, but you're not using the word address in any of the public stuff, because it's already close enough in concept to the State of the Union. And while I acknowledge I am the one stepping up to do this, I do not claim any authority over the industry. So that's the difference. So if I slip, that's why. If anybody wants to help me work on that, here are the two things that we need to figure out. What are we going to talk about, which I have ideas. And then secondly, who else do we want to invite? I've invited some people, nobody's accepted. I would like this to be a thing that people are willing to participate in. It might take a year. We might not get people to contribute until next year. I'm also slightly hopeful that there's a rebuttal. If anybody knows about the State of the Union, I hope there's a rebuttal, because that would mean we've reached a certain level of standing that people preemptively want to argue about what I'm going to say. So that'd be neat. Gad says, for the record, I'm classic. Never let the lady pay unless she insists and I respect her wishes. And that's kind of where I'm at. First few dates, I'll push back on that. Like, nope, I asked you. If it looks like it's going somewhere and we're starting to see each other more, then it kind of falls into an every other, at least with the women that I prefer to see. I dated this one woman in the last few years. This is the last I'll say. I don't generally talk about my dating life. And had fun on the first date, and I paid. And then we went out again, and I paid. Then we went out again, and I paid. And I realized she hasn't even tried to pay. I don't know that she's even said thank you. And so I started to watch. 8 dates, 7 of them involved us going out. I paid for all of them, and she didn't say thank you once. She might have said thank you the first date, and I missed it. But from then on, and so I tested it. So the last one, I was like, if she doesn't acknowledge, because her birthday had come up, and we didn't celebrate on her birthday, but near. And I planned a nice day, and we went and did some stuff, and went out to eat, actually twice. I was like, nothing, no gratitude whatsoever. All right. So hit the eject button. See ya. Mark says, for State of the Martial Arts, we need a podium with the Whistle Kick logo on it. Really big. We might grow into that. How about from the office, but without the shower curtain, because I have a new piece of furniture that will bring the room together. How's that? Jenny says, with regard to dating, as we start seeing more of each other, I might pay for dinner. Then my date will pay for whatever else we are doing that night. Bowling, movie, whatever. Okay, yeah. So finding balance in there. Totally agree. Kelly suggesting to Mark that Dennis introduced me for State of the Martial Arts with a big woo. That would be fun. That would be fun. And Andrew is the press secretary. I need a chief of staff. That honestly is the job that I really want to hire somebody for. So I can just say, make sure this person does this and this and this and this. And then once a day we sit down and I'm like, did they do this and this and this? And no, make them do this. This is important. And I just go, brr, and then they get it done. And then I can go on with the rest of my day. Snowplow again. I don't think it snowed that much. Oh well. Gad suggesting, how about the whistle kick signal? Who needs Batman anyway? Stacy wants to be the paparazzi. Well, maybe we can put it together like this for next year. Okay. You guys can do all this dreaming, and we'll do that for 2024. Now, here's a question for you to contemplate. We can chat about it for a few minutes before I switch over. Frank sent us some stuff to talk about. When you think about the balance, the exchange, however you see dating, whether you're married or not, the notion of there's a back and forth, there's a give and take, there's a balance, and everyone draws it a little bit differently. Do you see the role of a good martial arts instructor-student relationship at all similarly? I'm not talking about socializing, paying for movies, but I think most people recognize that in both situations have a responsibility to each other. An instructor without students is a crazy person teaching to an empty room. A student without an instructor isn't going to go very far. I take myself to dinner once in a while. It's not nearly as fun. I'll go to a movie by myself, and it's a good time, but there's nobody to talk about the movie with on the drive home. I think you need both. But the question really is, do you see, especially the early stages of both relationships, as similar? What you expect out of someone in a dating context, do you expect something similar out of the instructor? I do. To me, the instructor drives the first few classes very specifically because the student doesn't know what's going on. All right, I want you to go over here. I want you to do this. I want you to do this. And they kind of take over. And if you look at classic dating traditions, which is what I subscribe to, the man asks the woman out the first few times, and I'm going to pick you up. I'm going to pay. We're going to do this and this. And to me, it's very similar. Now, I recognize not everyone looks at dating that way. And I'm curious, for those of you who don't, if you see it a little bit differently, do you see those first few classes, that relationship between instructor and student, any differently? Kelly, can you say more, please, about that? Just laughing at the crosstalk. It's good stuff. All right, so if you have thoughts on that, why don't you chime in? I'm going to switch gears here. Thank you to Frank for all the work that you do on the show, my friend. Thank you to Josh for our theme song. And thank you to Denise for our audio feed. All right, so yesterday was National Gluten-Free Day. I know we have some people who pop on once in a while who are gluten-free. How many of you are there? I do not have active, celiac or sensitivities to gluten. But I guess I could call it a sensitivity. I can eat all the bread I want, but it doesn't mean my body's happy about it. We'll do a little bit better with sourdough bread. I can eat rice. It's not just a carb thing, but bread, bread and I aren't the best of friends. So I try not to do too much in the way of grains. Jenny says, woot woot, gluten-free here. Yeah, I know you are. All right. So what do we got here? In observance of National Gluten-Free Day, and for those of you who may not know, gluten is the gooey part of wheat. So if you were to take a bunch of wheat and get it wet, like flour, and mix it up, the part that makes it kind of bind together, that's the gluten. So if you want to consider, this says, consider some interesting ideas for planning a celebration, such as try eating gluten-free. In solidarity with those in the world who must eat a gluten-free diet, perhaps consider taking National Gluten-Free Day as a time to experiment with what it would be like. Choose to avoid foods that contain gluten, such as pasta, breads, crackers, and more. Cut out all wheat, as well as foods that may have been prepared in facilities that contain wheat, such as oatmeal. Instead, go for gluten-free substitutes for breads, or simply avoid grains altogether and eat a diet that consists more of fresh fruits, vegetables, rice, potatoes, and dairy products. Let me take an aside there. The majority of the gluten-free substitutes are not good for you. Just because it's gluten-free doesn't mean it's good for you. And I bet Jenny's going to chime in on that and agree with that. Most of your gluten-free snacks at the store, they're snacks. They're not things you should base your diet on any more that you should base your diet on Doritos and Oreos. They taste good. They're treats. Gluten-free, prepackaged food, in most cases, is a treat and should be treated in the same way. While most people may not have celiac disease, which would make it dangerous for them to eat gluten, having an intolerance for gluten is actually a very common occurrence in the modern world, especially in the West. The wheat that we have here, and my theory is it has to do in part with the genetic modification for the purpose of Roundup. Atrazine, right? That's the chemical name. If you go and have breads in Europe, the wheat's different. Why? I believe that's why. I've talked to several people and I've read plenty of accounts, people who go to Italy and they eat pasta and they have no problem. But yet if they have pasta here, they fall apart. This means that cutting out gluten in the diet might actually be beneficial for more people. I would argue that, so if you're roughly my age, you remember the food pyramid and we had bread on the bottom, flip that food pyramid. Bread is at the top. It's the stuff you should be eating the least of. Fats and meats and vegetables, followed by fruits, followed by carbs. Eliminate bloating. People who have an intolerance for gluten may experience excess gas and bloating after eating foods that contain it. Cutting out gluten can significantly reduce these digestive problems, can increase energy levels, and here the last one, this is the one that I'm going to read in full. Reduce pain. Joint pain caused by inflammation and migraine headaches can both be symptoms of a gluten allergy or celiac disease. Removing gluten from the diet can help to mitigate or even eliminate these types of pain. The majority of people who have joint pain, as I have had experienced conversations with them in the martial arts world, could reduce or eliminate that pain by changing their diet. It is truly not easy, that simple. So there you go. If anybody has anything to add on about glutinous stuff, let me know. Jenny agrees. The gluten-free substitutes are overprocessed and full of sugar. Yep. Oh, cool. That's really fun. So Kelly's here. I'll share this. How Kelly got started teaching. I did a little Taekwondo program for my daughter's athletic day. Never thought I'd do Taekwondo again, having thrown out all my stuff. 2 boys told their moms they wanted to learn more. When the moms approached me, I said I'd try to find them a school. They said no. They were adamant they'd only do it if I taught. This was at the end of the school year, so I contemplated all summer and decided that I'd offer a class there after school. Had 8 students, and the rest is history. And Jenny says, something to consider. Cutting out gluten tends to cut out a lot of less healthy starches and sugars. You may see weight changes and you'll likely feel better, but that doesn't necessarily mean it was the gluten causing you issues. Always talk with a qualified health professional before cutting things out of your diet. The other component, most foods that contain gluten also contain some manner of vegetable oil. The vast majority of vegetable oils, including most olive oil that we buy, by the time it makes it to our house, is rancid and has been altered so it doesn't smell rancid. Rancid, meaning spoiled, meaning gross and bad oil in our food. There are people out there who are theorizing that the majority of people who have a sensitivity to gluten are actually reacting poorly to the oil. Now, I'm not saying that that is what it is, but I'm saying it makes a heck of a lot of sense that we shouldn't be eating that either. I want to go back. Where did Gad say this? Okay. So Gad has this in response to my question of, can we relate early stage dating to early stage training? He says it is kind of a courtship. Indeed, both parties feeling teacher out if it is a match, feeling each other out if it is a match. Also depends on the instructor. If he, she is a humble person, they'll understand this and try to be a good, quote, date. If it's an arrogant teacher who thinks they're the next Bruce Lee and everyone has to worship them, that's the date who only orders for themselves and make you pay for the whole meal. Boom. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. I'm right there. Kelly says our acupuncturist tells us to stay away from vegetable oil. For me, it's coconut oil and butter. And if you eat pork products, bacon fat. There's a reason our grandparents used to save bacon fat when they cooked bacon and use it to cook other things. It's not rancid, unless you leave it there for a while. And the reason I have those two over, say, avocado oil or olive oil, which, again, they're rancid by the time they get to you, is they have the highest smoke point. So once fat crosses over a certain temperature, it becomes carcinogenic, essentially. So, yep. All right. Good stuff. I hope you have a great day. I hope if you didn't check out yesterday's episode of Martial Arts Radio, you do so. And hey, when you listen, especially to the interview episodes, if they remind you of someone, please send it to that person. Hey, I was listening to this and I thought you'd like this episode. Or maybe at the 45-minute mark, there was something that they talked about that I thought you would be interested in. Things like that, right? What else? If you want to work on State of the Martial Arts, let me know. There isn't a ton of work to do, but would love to have someone to bounce some things off of. Excuse me, burping. I'm going to go do a bunch of interviews. A bunch, 3. And I hope you have a great day. I would love for you to consider this kind of paradigm of dating in other elements of the world. Where else do you see it? I see it everywhere. The way we relate to people is the way we relate to people. Something I've been thinking about a lot lately. Like, oh, okay, that reminds me of this situation. That reminds me of this situation. And you don't have to take my word for it. Dennis says, dang, we always cook with olive oil. You don't have to take my word for it. Do some research. Kelly says she's trying to get back to the real world schedule. Yeah. Well, you deserve to remain on cloud 9 as long as you would like, of course. All right, if you're following us, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, TikTok. We put out our first TikTok on Whistle Kick yesterday. It failed. Something happened. I got to fix that this morning. It's one of my things I'm doing. And of course, if you want to support us, this show, all the work that we do to connect, educate, and entertain traditional martial artists worldwide, join the Patreon. Find out who I'm interviewing in a few weeks. That you're going to go, oh, really? You also get a whole bunch of other cool stuff. You can buy something at whistlekick.com using a code FIRSTCUP15. Remember that discount code for when Kick Clinic is rolled out, because you'll be able to use that there. And you've got the family page, whistlekick.com/family. I update it at least once a week with a whole bunch of good stuff. There's behind the scenes stuff as well as all the ways that you can help us. So you can go down the list. I did this, I did not do this, or I haven't done this in a while. Gad says they use rice oil because it has the highest cooking temperature. I am unfamiliar with rice oil. I didn't even know you could get oil out of rice. I hope you have a great day. I hope to see you tomorrow. And that's it. Told you my brain's a little off. Take care, everybody. I'll see you soon. Peace.